It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout Shortcast video, and with me is Robbie Robinson of Discover Hope 517. And for those who don't know, Robbie, what is the mission of Discover Hope 517?
The mission of Discover Hope 517 ministry is discovering hope through Jesus Christ to be redeemed, renewed, and restored. Our mission is to reach the marginalized right where they're at and create a space where we can give them hope that their lives can be transformed through this process of principles that they can engage in that will meet them right where they're at and give them hope that, hey, if I can just do things differently, if I can believe differently, change can take place.
Tell us about your story and how you ended up doing this Discover Hope 517. What did you say? It's been 10 years now?
10 years, yeah, 10
okay.
years. So, yeah, so we were able to celebrate 10 years in January. The beginning of January, we celebrate 10 years. And so Discover Hope really came from essentially my story of how God met me a long time ago through a form of my own personal addictions and brokenness and pain. So originally from Mississippi, grew up in Waterloo, Iowa. My family moved to Waterloo when I was about 5 or 6 years old.
I lived there for about 10 years.
Okay, yeah. And so, and then me coming from just a place of brokenness, dysfunction, sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, verbally abused, in and out of juvenile detention centers, state training school, boot camp, and then eventually to prison. And my second time in prison, I ended up going to this program called Prison Fellowship Academy. In there, God met me. And so God God redeemed my life while I was in there. But then he began to renew what I believed. It gave me hope that I could be different. And all the pain I went through and the trauma I experienced, he showed me that I can be healed from that and redeemed from that. And so that inspired my heart. And I just took what I went through in there when I got out of prison. And so about my first 10 years when I got out, finally got into my identity, who I was in Christ, and that there was a purpose for my life. And so I ended up going through this support groups and in this discipleship group. And in that discipleship group, got the vision and that I wanted to freely give what I received. And I wanted people to discover hope. And I wanted them to know that their lives can be different and new if they was in Christ. And so Discover Hope 517 was born from that. And so through me and another brother, Aaron Groves. And so Aaron was the lieutenant sheriff at the time in the community. So he helped give me a voice in our community. And then he continued with his job at the sheriff department at the time. And I continued with Discover Hope. And so down this path, started a little small group, turned into this organization where we now serve hundreds of people. And we have a transitional housing for men. And so we have a community center where we feed people every day from 11:30 to 1, a hot meal, a great opportunity for us just to meet them right where they're at. We have 13 different support groups that we do out of Discover Hope. So between Discover Hope and the church, we have something for people to get engaged with every day.
Wow. Fantastic.
7 days a week, they can get it plugged into something that will continue to create discipleship around them, community around them, support around them. And so, so that's been my heart. So, we're 10 years in, and it's been truly a blessing.
Well, it's fantastic that you do this. And you've told us your story, and on the podcast, you also told a story about another person who was having some problems, and you turned their life around. Maybe you could quickly tell us about that story also.
Man. So it was a brother who was referred to us, and he came in, and he was a hot mess. Been on alcohol for a long time, meth for a long time, over 30 years or so. And he just showed up, and he had this desire. First, he was just angry. He was just flat out angry. He was like, "You can't help me. You can't change me." And I'm like, "You're right. I can't, but I know someone who can." And I said, "Hey, if you let God take out some of this mess out of you and put Him in you, it will radically change your life." And so, even though he was mad, he kept coming back. He just kept coming back. It kept touching him a little bit. And so I would say about 3 or 4 years of going through several times of him trying to commit suicide, middle of the night phone call, sitting on the curb next to him, he wanted to kill himself, hospital visits, sitting in the hospital with him. And so about 4 years later, I remember sitting in the hospital room with him and looking him in his eyes, and he was just like, "Man, I think I'm a child of God." And I could see that glow, that glistening in his eye. Well, I knew it was serious, and that change that took into place. And so now, 6 years later, he's married, he owns his own painting business. He hires and employs other guys who come from the same culture that he came from. He did all the paintwork for our whole building here. Great brother, great blessing. He's one of many. I have many stories of individuals that we've been able to walk through who have got the success story, and some that doesn't as well. But it's a part of it.
And one of the things you mentioned too in the podcast is when you have these success stories, they come back and you want them to help make other success
That's
stories.
right, yeah. They come back and they give. They come back and they serve. They come back and they be the story. They be the encouragement, because we have a firm truth around here that we model what we believe, and so there's no greater way for people that's from that culture of addiction and marginalized is to see hope, and then seeing someone that they knew that was out there whose lives has been transformed, who's been what we say redeemed, renewed, and restored. And then they coming back and they serve and they walking. So they being mentors, they holding people accountable, they walking with them, they modeling it out. And so that's really the design of our culture, is that when they come to us, and I was telling you about a couple that I walked through with, and now they're married, and now they both are leadership within Discover Hope, and they're leading. And a lot of our volunteers are the same way, and so it's been a blessing, y'all.
Fantastic. If people want to find out more about Discover Hope 517, how can they do that, Robbie?
Yeah, you can check out us on our website at discoverhope517.org. It's the greatest way. It really paints the visual of who we are. They can look us up on Facebook as well, Discover Hope 517 Ministry. They can also come by our building. We're located at 733 First Avenue, Newton, Iowa. They can always stop by Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4, Friday, 9 to 2. Can't miss us. We're right across the street from McDonald's, right next to the Burger King, big blue building. And so we would love to give you a tour, love to connect with you. So yes.
Well, if you know somebody who is dealing with addiction of just about any kind, why have them come into Discover Hope 517, and free meals too.
That's right, free meals. Yep, no questions asked.
Right.
No questions asked.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Robbie, always a pleasure talking to you. Bless you for all you've done. Turned a lot of lives around here in the past 10 years at Discover Hope 517. And if you or somebody that needs to have their life turned around, have them come see Robbie and the crew here at Discover Hope 517. I think they'll help you out. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Out and About with Jamie Grout. Until next time, Grout is out. See ya.